All right, ready?
Hi everyone, I've been building big brake kits since 2003 for Pontiacs and Chevys. If you would like a big brake kit for your PPV, your G8, your Pontiac GTO, or your Chevy SS, go to g8brakes.com. Alright, so we are taking my buddy's car over to test out his braking system. I was always curious what G8 upgraded rotors and pads would do. Basically, you're going to take your factory calipers and you're going to put some, drilled and slotted rotors and some slightly better pads. I was curious to see what the stopping ability is with that type of braking system. If you pay attention to when I'm slamming on the brakes on this car and actually look at the nosedive and the body roll, you'll see that I'm pushing these brakes as hard as humanly possible to get this car to stop. Even with pushing the brake pedal with both of my feet as hard as I can all the way to the floor, the car still stopped in only 48 feet. That was the shortest braking distance I could get out of the factory braking system. Okay, so this test wasn't bad, but I think I hit the brakes early. I'm going to do it again. Actually, I'm probably going to do it a couple times. Okay, so let's run over and look at the results. All right. I did this a couple times and the car seems to stop within the same distance every time, which is just shy of 39 feet, which isn't bad. So at 39 feet, the braking distance on this car is actually about 8 feet shorter than OEM, because I have tested other completely stock G8s. So with the rotor and pad change, you are actually getting better braking, which is really cool. I'm excited to show you guys what big brakes will do with this car. Okay, we are back at the garage. I just wanted to show you the kit that is going in this car. So basically, this is the best version of the 4-piston kit. It comes with 4 4-piston calipers, 8 grade 10.9 mounting bolts, stainless steel braided brake lines with crush washers, banjo bolts, and mounting brackets. So it's a complete brake line kit. Oh, and it also has nice CNC machine bushings. It comes with stainless steel hardware with grade 10.9 pins for the pads, ceramic blend pads, and these are a high carbon rotor. These rotors are a very strong material. I know, a lot of rotors out there pretty much have about a 6-month, maybe even a 3-month life expectancy. There's people out there that get a very long life out of these rotors. They typically get a lot of mileage out of these. I usually don't hear from somebody who gets a kit on rotors for a couple years, actually. I wanted to show a little garage tip. Basically, let's say you are upgrading your brakes, but you sold your existing brakes to someone, but you have a stuck rotor. As you can see, this rotor is pretty much not coming off. So the idea is you'll probably grab a hammer and start whacking on this thing, but the problem is you might bend the rotor, you might dent the rotor, And then once you do that, you pretty much can't give it to the person that you sold them to, right? So I wanted to show how to get a rotor off without damaging the rotor. And the easiest thing to do is grab a propane torch and heat the hub area up. And then once you heat the hub area up, you want to give the rotor a few light taps. Oh, look at that, came right off. It's that simple. Okay, so this is the easiest way to break loose a stuck brake line. First of all, remove anything from the equation that's in the way that's rubber that can get damaged by a flame. And what you want to do is use a propane torch, and you want to heat up the fitting just a little bit, only enough to get the metal to expand, and then once it expands, you want to work the fitting. And what you want to do is work it back and forth, and then eventually, when you work it out enough, brake fluid's going to come through and it'll act like a lubrication. So I just want to show you guys what I did. I actually put a plug in the brake line, and I put a vacuum cap on the metal side of the brake line. That way, when I remove the caliper, there won't be fluid leaking, and I won't be trailing fluid all over my garage. Okay, so here's another example of a stuck brake line. Instead of this basically fitting coming loose, you're actually witnessing the entire line move. What I need to basically do is heat this up so I can get the fitting to move, but the line will stay in one place. Let me show you one more time. See the line moving? And now what you want to do is just work the fitting. That way you get all the debris out of the threads, and then brake fluid will start coming out, and that'll act as a lubrication. So now, I mean, the line's going to move a little bit while I do this, but watch what happens when I move the fitting. The line is not stuck anymore. Now the fitting actually moves and the line stays in one place. Okay, so I wanted to film how to bleed brakes. Basically, I have this custom bleeder set up. What this allows me to do is catch the fluid to where I don't have to actually hold the bleeder. And then what I'm gonna do is, my wife is actually up in the car. She's gonna pump the pedal. Now what pumping the pedal does is it pressurizes the brake caliper and it moves all the air into the caliper, and then you wanna use your brake bleeder to catch the air. You wanna start on a Brembo caliper on the inside bleeder first, then the outside bleeder. So Geraldine, go ahead and start pumping. At this point, she's probably going to pump the pedal about 15 times or so just to get the fluid to move. And then what I'm gonna do is get my bleeder in the back and open the bleeder when she compresses the pedal all the way. All right, Geraldine, hold the pedal down. All right, I'm gonna open the bleeder. Let me know when it hits the floor. Ready? Floor. Floor, okay, it moved, good. All right, pump it. All right, hold it. Floor. Okay. Hold on a sec. All right, go ahead, pump the pedal a bunch. You feel the pedal getting a little harder? All right. Pump it really hard, like 5 times, and let me know when you're holding it. Holding. Floor. All right, a lot of air came out. Pump it up again. All right, hold it. All right. Good thing is no air came out. What I just finished showing you on the front passenger side caliper is the same thing you're going to do on all 4 calipers. You're going to start with the inner bleeder, then the outer bleeder. You're going to pump the pedal before you open the bleeders because you want to pressurize the system. Have someone hold the pedal as hard as you can, and that'll push all of the air bubbles and old fluid out. Then when it's completed, check your pedal travel. If you have a lot of pedal travel, there's still air in the lines. A lot of times with these types of calipers, you actually have to bleed the brakes basically 2 to 3 times. So when I say that, you're going to basically go around and do all 4 calipers 2 to 3 times when you bleed the brakes, just to get all of the air out, because now it's a much larger braking system than you had before, so you have to compensate for the amount of area the fluid has to fill. Okay, one thing I always do when I'm finished is I always like to check to see if the calipers are working. So I mean, you can see rotor spins. Go ahead, Gerald, push the brake as hard as you can. Now you can actually see the calipers holding it, and you can actually see the pry bar bend. I check every single brake when I'm finished. Okay. All right, so we're obviously done with the car. I'm out in the car right now getting the brakes warmed up. I'm trying to bed the rotors. I have a bunch of videos on the channel showing how to bed rotors, but basically you just want to warm the rotors up and get them hot evenly. And then eventually when they're hot, you know, we can start doing our braking test, because you want the rotors to expand evenly so they don't warp in the future. You know, it's just something you want to do with a high carbon alloy. So what I'm doing is basically just warming them up slowly. I'm just driving slow, I'm hitting the brakes lightly, and then I'm going to go a little faster, hit the brakes a little harder, and I'm just trying to warm the rotors up, that's all. I'm also pretty much waking the neighbors up with this car. I don't mean to, sorry everybody. You'll actually start feeling the brakes work better. You want to get the coating off the rotors. You know, they have an anti-corrosion coating. So I'm going to start being a little more aggressive on the braking. And eventually the brakes will be warmed up enough that we can do our brake test. Alright, we're getting there. I can feel the pads biting a little more. Yeah, definitely starting to work better. It's dry out and the ABS is kicking in, just to give you an idea of how strong the brakes are. Brake test. Oh, good Lord. Oh, wow. All right, just making sure we didn't lose anything. Every time I do that, stuff flies all over the place. All right, so yeah, we're at the point where the brakes are working even better than they were when I left. So they're nice and warm now. Let's run over to my testing area so we can see how much better the Brembos stop the car versus the factory brakes. We hit 20 feet in about 4 inches. So what I want to do now is a couple of times just to confirm if the braking is going to be the same every time, just so I don't have any error, or like maybe I hit the brakes early or I hit it too late. So that's really cool. So as you guys can tell, I'm trying to build up G8brakes.com. So I've been building big brake kits for cars since like 2003. I've been building big brake kits for the G8 since it was basically brand new. I was one of the first guys to figure out how to get Brembos on this car, especially since you can get a version of the car with Brembos. And then I was one of the first guys to offer kits for the rear, for like the GXP or like the 2014 Chevy SS. If you want to get rear Brembos that match the front, I was one of the first guys to do it. And, you know, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn, I just want to tell you guys that, like, that I've been around a long time and a lot of people know me in the industry. So I really like showing, you know, what these brakes can do, because I've tested these brakes on a lot of cars over the years and I know exactly what it was going to stop at, but I'm trying to show everybody how it can stop visually. You know, unless you want to actually literally come try out one of my own personal cars, I have no problem with that. If you're local, come on, I'll take you for a spin. That's why I make the videos, so you don't have to travel out by me just to see what the brakes can do. But look, even if I'm off by, even in this brake test, right, let's say if I'm even off by 5 feet, let's say, the car stopped in 20 feet 4 inches, right? Even if it stopped at 25 feet, the factory cars stop at like 47 feet plus. So even if I'm off by a little bit, you're still cutting your braking distance in half. A lot of people out there do not understand why even on a non-sports car, sports car type brakes are actually better for your car. That's why I do this testing. Now, you may or may not see this on camera, but I tested these brakes probably 6 or 7 times. And almost every time it was on the money. The only reason it was a little off is I may have hit the brakes a little early, or I may have hit the brakes a little bit late. That's why I do it more than once. I don't just want to do it one time and then call it done. You know, I may get back to the shop and the footage might be bad, which is why I keep doing it over and over and over again just to make sure. Now, I've tested this brake kit on more than one car. I've tested it on more than one type of car. I know what these brakes can do. I know what the high carbon rotors can do, I know what the ceramic pads can do, and I know what the brake lines can do. So I was pretty much sure that the car would stop this good. I just wanted to basically show everybody how good it is. So hopefully you enjoy these videos. I'm trying to bring as much as I can between supercruises.com and g8brakes.com, between the cruise parts and the G8 parts. I try to give as many custom things as I can, and I figured this brake kit was a really cool thing to offer, and I wanted to really show how it performed. So thanks again, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and have a very nice day.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.